Today on Cryptic Mass Guitar, we take a look at how bad is it with EHX Lumberjack Log Overdriver. So before we start typing on your keyboard, this pedal and this pedal series is about giving a pedal that has been crapped on all over the internet, or people generally don't like or hate, or is very misunderstood, and giving the pedal a very fair shake. I'm going to do my best to try to see what I can get out of this pedal, see if it's worth it, see if this is something that you're looking into, or maybe this is something that you've overlooked and this is something that you might want in the future. But this whole series just to give a piece of gear that people hate, dislike, or have all the wrong intentions about, and giving the fairest shake I possibly can. So without any more talking, let's get into our first sound sample of this pedal. Instead of going on about logarithmic and going on about what linear is and the differences between that, we're going to show you what this pedal does and how it reacts, so that way you guys are playing with your ears and not trying to figure out what this thing is. Play it, enjoy it. So, right off the get-go, here's my clean tone. Very generic, very nice, no dirt at all to it. That way you guys can actually see and hear what this pedal is actually doing. Moving on now, let's turn this pedal on. Everything's at the 12 o'clock position. Now let's hear what it sounds like just turned on with the settings that it's at right now. As you notice there, when I hit the notes very softly, and even softer than that, very nice saturation in the background, but as I hit and strike the strings harder, notice how all that clean tone comes right back out into the front. Very dynamic pedal, very cool. So so cool. Love the fact that this pedal does that, and you can be so much more creative with how you're hitting the strings, especially if you're a Strat player. This can be a definite excellent tool for you because it accentuates some of those actions that you're trying to create and make emphasis on. So keep that in mind when purchasing this pedal if that's something that you want. Let's move on to the boost knob. Now the boost knob, what that does is it changes the input volume from the guitar into the pedal. Now what that's going to do is it's going to push the pedal harder, or it's going to back off that pedal a little bit more. So what the difference of with that and the volume is the output of what is going to your amplifier. So I highly recommend when using this pedal, find out where you want your boost knob to be and your log factor. Then turn off and on the pedal until you get unity gain, or if you want to use this in a different application as like a boost for like a solo or something like that, then you can kind of adjust where you need to. So leave that volume knob to the last. Right now we're on boost, so as we heard before, 12 o'clock position. Moving on now to the 3 o'clock position, sorry. All the way up, which we are going to be into crazy clipping ranges here. Moving now to the 9 o'clock position. You can hear how much that's really died down. And all the way down. So let's put that back at the 12 o'clock position again. Now let's move our log factor all the way to the 9 o'clock position here, or the 3 o'clock position, sorry. Kind of cool, a lot more grid on the end there, and all the way up. Kind of getting to those kind of torn ranges or fuzzy speaker sounds. Now to the 9 o'clock position here. Kind of hear the clean tone kind of swallowing that a little bit more. Pretty cool. Now let's bring that back up to the 12 o'clock position again, and just for giggles, your volume. 3 o'clock position. All the way up, very high clipping ranges. 9 o'clock position. And completely off. So let's try to find just a generic cool sound. Now let's add some delay to the sound to see how this effect really works with delay. The beauty with this is it doesn't interfere with what the delay is doing, the reverb's doing, any other effect that you're putting on this, especially time-based effects. That is kind of the sweet spot for this pedal. So right now let's turn on some delay. We'll turn that up a little bit more so we can hear a little bit more prominent in the mix with the delay. Normally people wouldn't have delays blaring like that, but... Pretty cool. Now let's listen to what this sounds like with a Fender Super Reverb. So now let's listen to this with distortion. We're using the same UA ENGL E646 VS. Great UA plugin that they have. Here's the tone without any of the pedal settings on or anything. And with the pedal on. So as you can hear, adds a lot more grit to the sound. Off. On. Really cool effect to throw on a distortion. I'm not a tube screamer guy at all, but I love how this added some of that extra. That grit at the end there. Very clean, and then throw this on there, a lot more dirtier. Really friggin' cool. So now let's move around some of the things. We've already explained the knobs in the last part of this video, so we're just going to turn the knobs and find some really cool sounds. So I really like that sound. And I had the noise suppressor turned off, so to make it tighter. Turn the noise suppressor off again. And let's turn on a little bit of delay. Love it. Now let's listen to another sound sample using this with a distorted amplifier. So this concludes my review of the EHX Lumberjack Log Overdriver. Now I've had this pedal for quite a long time. Haven't had a chance to actually plug into it. I have quite a few pedals I'm still in the process of reviewing. But when I actually plugged into this pedal, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? That's kind of different. It was very refreshing for me. I like discovering new things when I'm playing and plugging into stuff that's just different than everything else. There's nothing worse than, especially us on YouTube, we go out and we buy tons and tons of pedals, and we buy our own pedals. And you buy an overdrive that has 3 knobs. Guess what that's going to sound like? Oh, you have a phase shifter with 1 knob. Guess what that sounds like? Oh, of course, with 2 knobs. Guess what that sounds like? So plugging into something and seeing overdrive and 3 knobs, kind of thought, you know, that's probably going to be the same crap I'm used to hearing, just a different variation or different this, different that. Plugging to this was very nice and refreshing to go, whoa, what is going on there? What is that? And then hearing the particular accents in the background and your clean tone really coming through. I really like this pedal. Had to kind of mess around with the knobs at first to see what they were talking about with the knobs, and I think that confuses a lot of people, like what log factor is. Everybody knows what volume is, but what am I boosting? You're boosting your input signal. With that being said, I can see where this pedal doesn't get a fair shake. If you're looking for that generic overdrive sound, this is not it. Can you get some overdrive style tones on there that are really nice? Absolutely. But if you're looking for just a clean overdrive that's just overdrive, no. But where I do believe this thing shines, especially when it comes to plugging in effects with it and messing around with effects, it doesn't degrade those effects or change them in a way that you're losing the quality of that effect that you are using and the reason why you're using it. And on top of that, the other place I find this thing shines is in the distortion regions with a high gain amp. Like a lot of people, I'm not a TS9 guy myself or an overdrive guy, especially with boosting an amp, not my thing. But this actually gave a characteristic that I really enjoyed when I was turning this up and making something else there. I could set my amp to a nice clean distortion, and I could use this to really manipulate it and add so much more to the sound. So for me, that's where this pedal shines. And to answer the question, how bad is this pedal? I don't think it's bad at all. I just think it's different. And is it different in a good way? Is it different in a bad way? That's up to you. I think it's different in a good way. It's a refreshing pedal that there's not too many types of pedals like this out there. So having something like this in my arsenal is excellent. And it's probably not something I would turn on all the time, but something to give that extra just jab in the heart with your guitar tone when you're doing a solo, or you just want to rip through something to get that lead part out there. This thing's definitely going to get it to you, and it's going to be a different way than everybody else that's playing around you. So I hope I've been able you distinguish if this is the pedal that's right for you or not. Until next time, I'm Kevin of Cryptic Mass Guitar. Take care.